Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. I'm back with another 2 million credit guide that will hopefully help you earn them 2 million credits as quickly and as easy as possible. So for this week's combination, if you're wondering, we are at Autopolis and we are driving the Super Formula 2023 model. Now we are running this car with default setup because that is all you have. You don't have any option to do any tuning for this car, and we are racing with the racing soft tires for this time trial. Now if you do enjoy these videos, they do help you out. Please do take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section how it's helped you out. I do love reading them comments about how we've improved your lap times. But so let's get into this and show you how you enter. So first up, go into the main menu and then into sport mode. Now when you go into there, you'll receive your 2 millions from the previous event. So at the end of the 2 weeks, that is when you get your 2 million credits. As you can see there, I get my 2 million for the Grand Valley one. And now we go into the online time trial and we're going to click on the Autopolis. So there's a new one. I hadn't set a lap time at this point, so on that leaderboard my time isn't there, but I am in the top 10 just to let you know. So you can see at the moment 24.8 for gold, 26.5 for silver, 30.6 for bronze. Now that is going to actually go a little bit lower. I would predict you're going to probably need 24 flat maybe for gold, and you know, take 8 tenths off each one probably at least, because my lap, I noticed, was in the top 10 after I'd done it, but there was a lot of time left on this, so you're going to see that when I do the guide now. So starting your lap, try and get a good exit off this corner. I'm actually on the second lap in this time trial session here. You can see a 22.8 on that one, and now we're going to go for another lap here now. Going into turn 1, we are actually going to brake incredibly late, so you're going to go past the 100 board, and we're actually going to be braking nearer to the 50 board. This car has insane braking ability, so brake really late, down to third gear. Now what you want to do is you want to try and turn into an invisible ape. You're not actually going to see the apex, you're just turning in knowing that it's there, and you're going to upshift the fourth before you get to the apex, and the throttle's going to actually go in right before the apex. You can see there, but we're going to play with that throttle a little bit, just backed off a little bit so we didn't run too far wide, use the curb on the exit. And now we're going into this next right hand corner again, very late on the brakes. You're going to see almost just past that 50 board on the left. I use that as a reference. I might have braked a little bit too late here. You're going to see why. Braking going in there, you can see just past the 50 board and in between the start of the curb. And you want to get this right hand tire up onto this curb on the right hand side, but you can see I braked a little bit too late, missed the apex massively. Now this compromised me. You can see the purple line is where I want to be, but the red line is where I'm going, so I'm going to have to put a bit of braking input in here. You see, tiny bit of braking input because I'm coming in from a narrow angle. That's going to help rotate the weight to the front of the car, and it's going to help us get into this apex. And you can see we actually fixed it quite well there. We've got ourselves in a much better position, and now we can get back onto the normal line through here. So it is a little bit compromised still. You can see putting that power down, and then as soon as we're almost in a straight line here, what you want to do is you want to try and rotate into this braking zone. But you can see because of my compromised line, I'm having to take quite a tight line into this apex, but I do like that tighter line there. I think it can actually work really well as you put that power down on the exit, and now powering our way into this next left hand corner. And the good thing about this is much easier in this car because it is completely flat out. You do not need to brake. You're going to see completely throttled it all the way down there, fourth gear, upshift to fifth gear midway through the corner, and then just keep that throttle all the way. Just be careful you don't run wide. You will need to be a bit cautious. You do have to get the line right through that corner, and then we're going to be looking for our next braking zone, which is the left board before the 50 board. Now you're going to brake just past that. You see braking inputs going in just past that and just before the 50 board. You can use either the 50 or that left board. I tend to use the left board, and then just make sure I'm braking before the 50. Now you can see we brake maybe a fraction too early because I've actually got this car up onto the curb there, and that actually kind of compromises the exit slightly because I can't get the power down, because when your tyres are on the curb, this car is a little bit dangerous. Now into the next right hand corner. Again, this is a super aggressive corner, just a tiniest little dab of the brake for a weight transfer. So as we come down here, you're going to see just a tiny little lift off the throttle, sorry, not a dab of the brake, just a lift off the throttle for weight transfer. And then as we're coming into this corner, you can see just at the end of the curb there, tiniest little bit of braking input going in. Now you're not going to be aggressive. This again is just to transfer the weight to the front of the car, and then just let the car coast a little bit up into fifth gear. We used a bit too much curb there, had to go through the gears a little bit, and then again this is completely flat out here. You can see we just want to rotate this car so the left hand tire is getting close to the curb. If anything, you don't want to be too much aggression on the curbs. I may be a little bit too aggressive there. And then onto the brakes for this right hand corner. What you want to do for this corner is make sure you brake a little bit earlier rather than late, because you don't want to run too far out to the full width of the track. You want to keep it kind of in the middle of the track, downshift to second gear, and what you want to do is line the car up so that when you're getting on the throttle, your car's almost in a straight line. This will help traction massively because the traction on this part of the track is horrendous. You have to be super careful. So the straighter the car, the better for traction. Upshift to 4th gear, and then again, just a little lift off the throttle for this left-hand corner, because that's all you need to do for this. You don't really need to go on the brakes, just a lift off the throttle, back onto the throttle, and then power your way through this left-hand corner. And now into this tricky last corner. Again, you're going to use the full width of the track. Try and swing it from the left to the right, and you're going to just give it a little dab of the brakes just before the curb on the right there. You can see the curb on the right side. You're going to use that as a reference. Just as you approach that, you're going to get onto the brakes there, and that's going to help transfer the weight to the front of the car. Now, what you want to do is get that car rotating enough so that you're getting turning in, and then you can get aggressive on the throttle for the exit. So quite aggressive here, up into 4th gear. Again, could have done that a little bit better, but you know, there's a lot of time to find on this lap, just going by that lap there, and we go over the line on a 22.5. So looking at that lap, I think there's easily half a second to find on that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's quite a few people getting like 21.876s, maybe even down to 0.5. Who knows how this will go, but I would be cautious. If you're anywhere near the gold now, you might need to improve it. But again, watching that lap from chase camera, you can see that you've just got to really swing this car, and you can see into this corner how I miss the apex. Look how I brake a little bit too late, and you can see it might only be a couple of foot of missed apex, but it compromises you all the way through. And you can see because of that, I'm then into a very narrow angle for this corner. But I do say I quite like the narrow line for that hairpin. It gives me really good traction. It rotates really nice, and then completely flat out through this corner. You can see just so much grip from this Super Formula. You really need to be aggressive to take advantage of this car. Then braking just past that left-hand ball. Probably could have braked a little bit later. You see I get it up onto the curb, and because that left-hand rear tyre was on the curb, I had to be a bit careful on the throttle because it would have spun me. So again, just try not to use too much of the curbs. It is quite hard not to use them, though, I have to say. This car turns so well that you end up turning into the curb. Nearly did it again there, nearly lost the rear. Again, up onto the curb. And then just very, very smooth through this section. You'll see how lined it up so that the steering inputs weren't too aggressive. And that's what you've got to do. You'll really gain a lot of time through there if you just get that car lined up. And then this final corner, it's all about just getting into apex and getting on the throttle for the exit speed. But hopefully, this will help you out. It's a very fast-paced lap. It is a very hectic lap. This car has so much downforce. But yeah, hopefully you'll be able to get that gold, and you'll be able to move on with 2 million credits at the end of the 2 weeks. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments if you've managed to get the gold, and I'll be back with these every time there is a new one live. Thanks again, everyone. Bye.